What we need for peace is to ask who arranges for the wars. What we need to do is not look at the soldiers, but ask who's behind the soldiers, who sends the soldiers out very far away to kill others and to be killed. It must be a gentleman. Perhaps it's gentlemen and gentlewomen together, very well bred, very well educated, beautifully dressed, whose manners are not so shrill as the manners of us peace workers, whose manners are kinder and more cordial, who have an immunity to the pain of the poor and the pain of other people being killed. These people, it must be gentlemen and not gentlewomen, because gentlewomen, we know for a fact, do not look into the daytime activities of their husbands. They have, as Mrs. Bush has told us, 46 years of happy marriage because they don't ask about what their husband does during the daytime. So let's say it's gentlemen who send us off to our wars. Let's say that these lucky rich, these wonderful, well-educated people are lucky predators. Not unlucky predators, not like batters and beaters who get psychological help, but people too lucky to ask for psychological help or ever get it. We need to get them psychological help so they'll stop taking us to all their wars. We need somehow to have a psychology, especially of the very rich, and we need to ask them to go make use of that and not look down on psychology as something you bring in for your employees in the corporation or something that belongs to losers. It needs to be something that happens to winners. Someone needs to teach them to say, there's some small part of me that I'm not used to looking at, which feels pain when I order up soldiers to go kill other people. I thought I didn't feel any pain, but now that I've become psychologically consciousness raised, I too feel pain. Apparently there is something about peace I need to learn and that I need to feel. And so I'm asking the psychological community of the United States to look at the very rich and to leave their studios where the people that need help and know it, who identify themselves as needing help, come, and instead go to the very rich and say, you need help, and we will give it. And make it stylish and make it a passion for the rest of us to point to them and say, they need help, and they are getting it. Just as the women's movement did 30 years ago when it stopped people sneering and jeering at them by making fun of people who were in such psychological unconsciousness that they jeered at women. And so I ask for the psychological community to leave their offices and leave their studios and come out and publish, to be willing to do things without documentation, to be willing not to be scientists anymore, to leave the medical model, which is so dear to some thousands of them, and to ask all of us, but especially to ask the rich, the lucky, the gentle, especially those with the great educations, to ask them, how long have you been immune to what happens to the poor when all the money goes for weapons? How did you get to be immune? Were you always immune, or was there some trauma in your background? I don't think there was any trauma in your background. We need to get them to ask those questions. And then the rich too can have that same strange joy that the rest of us have when we say, I have discovered a part of myself in which there's hope where I thought there was no hope, and where I don't need pride and wealth so much as I need to join all these others, the invisible others. If they join the invisible others, there are no wars, since wars are against others whom we can't see or whom they don't see.